that stupid kick that Conor did was the perfect thing to do in that situation. That was the only option he had. I'm baffled at how many people are just 100% completely against the idea, the thought of Conor having come into the fight injured. Like they'll get angry. And I don't understand that. I don't understand that perspective. The only thing I could think of is they hate him so much. And don't want it to not be considered a Max victory, that they're like, how dare you say that? Don't take anything away from Max, which is so weird, man. Bro, if you imagine if you were gonna get in a backyard fight with some dude, right? And he has a heart attack and dies before you guys even touch gloves. And you're like, woo! Yeah! Oh, who's next? Who's next, baby? Like, if you take that as a victory, that's kind of what Max was doing. As soon as the fight was over, it cut to his wife in the crowd, and she's like, and his MGK looking son was like, who's your daddy now? Who's your daddy now? And I kind of get it. You know, if you're there watching some guy disrespect your dad and all that, and he's like, I sunned him. I sunned Max. Then, you know, he's standing up for his dad, being defensive or whatever. And then Max, he's like, oh, I guess that made him weak in the knees. He said it 47 times that night. I went back and counted. 47 times Max Holloway says, I guess that made him weak in the knees. He wanted to make sure everyone heard his joke. Because you know how when you say something funny and you're like, oh, I think, I didn't have the timing right. I think they were kind of talking. Like, hold up. And then you say it again and you wait and, oh, they didn't laugh again. Maybe I need to be louder. And you just keep trying. I think he kept saying it and no one was responding or laughing like he thought they would. And he just kept saying it. He's probably saying it at home right now because people are still yet to laugh. It was corny. It was like he was working on material. It was lame. That was not, dude, he had the opportunity, and everybody, look, this isn't how I base my opinions, but everybody's saying it. I mean, unless you're just sitting at home in a Max t-shirt and you're angry, or your name is Jay Smith, unless, one of those things, then, everyone across the board seems to be saying, yeah, he kind of dropped the ball. All the pundits, the talking heads, commentators, they're all kind of like, yeah, I love Max, but yeah, it was kind of weird. He just had such a lack of awareness in that moment. All he had to say was, oh, man, nobody wants to win a fight like that. Oh, man, I hope he feels good. Because, look, we all think he went in injured, right? And or he faked it. He's trying to get out of his contract. He's mad at the UFC, whatever. Supposedly, at least in that moment, Max didn't think that. Max just thought something happened right there, right? So he shouldn't have had a weird feeling about it. Like, wait a minute, what the heck? He should have just been like, oh no, poor guy. I hope he feels better. Remember, like Jiri Prochaska, as dumb as he is, at least he was saying, I had mercy. I had mercy for him. And, he felt that empathy or whatever. Max was like, oh, we got to do it again. Let's get that money. While everyone's booing in the crowd because they just lost their life savings. Can't even afford to get back home. Let's get more money, boys. And everyone's booing. Conor's not even out of the venue yet. He's already thinking about the next one. Totally botched that.
Hey, what's up, fool? Don't forget, new videos every single day. Quit your day jobs.
So I understand there's a lot of Max fans out there just wanting to be on his side, and they consider it an anti-Max sentiment to assume that Conor already went in injured, because then it's an excuse. They look at it as an excuse. I just think it's embarrassing if you have to so strongly cling to that and get so upset. It makes it seem like you were insecure otherwise. Like, like there's nothing self-assured about that take whatsoever. It makes it seem like you're so glad that it happened the way that it happened. That was 100% like no contest status. And I said it before already a couple of times in videos, but as much as I've like made fun of the Joshua Van victory, Joshua Van looks like a Hall of Famer compared to this display from Max and Conor. At least Joshua Van caught the kick and kind of threw him off, and it made him land a certain way. There was nothing that Max did in that fight that made him land the way he did and fully, more to that highest level, exacerbate his knee or whatever. Max did nothing. So that, within those guidelines, it should have been more along the lines of no contest. And again, I say this as someone that doesn't like Conor. I don't like Conor. I'm not a fan. It's shocking to me for people not to think he was injured when the evidence is all over the place. All over the place. And you know what? I think I've already said this. Even more than seeing multiple instances, it's not just one, multiple instances of him is his reaction after, or lack thereof. It wasn't like when he broke it, when he was fighting Poirier, freaking out, no, your wife, come back here, He broke it and it was like, yep, I knew it. He's just walking around the cage, like doing that breath he does. There's no surprise there whatsoever. No surprise. No shock, no bewilderment. Wasn't blindsided with it. That was a look of resolve, like, I knew it. Didn't know exactly how or when, but yep. I don't know, man. I could talk about that all day. I'm just going in circles, though. I just don't understand trying to deny that. It does nothing for anybody. But he did, tuxedo mask. I do want to acknowledge that, though. I've been telling people, he could be the age he's at. Even though there's other people the same age as him that are champions. Age means nothing. Age ain't nothing but a number. And there's champions that have been older. Means nothing. Other champions have done drugs. Means nothing. Other champions have done steroids. Means nothing. None of those things means that he couldn't have come in with an injury. I don't get that. It's like people are saying, no, don't forget. He's in his late 30s. So that means he couldn't have been injured. What? Don't forget, he did steroids. That means he could not have been injured. Huh? Wait a minute, don't forget, he did a lot of drugs. That means he could not have been injured. What are you talking about? Here, okay, someone says that's not what happened this weekend. What happened was Conor McGregor trying to throw a stupid kick and also getting smacked by Max. It's very disheartening to me, very discouraging, very sad when it seems like there's a lot of information put out there, a lot of evidence, a lot of logic, a lot of wisdom, and like people are going, no one's listening. That stupid kick that Conor did was the perfect thing to do in that situation. That was the only option he had. That was the only thing he could have done. And yes, I was the first one saying that. When the whole world was calling him an idiot and saying how stupid that was, I was the very first one saying, what? That's exactly what he should have done. Now I hear other people saying it. I just heard Whitaker saying it. I just heard, I think Poirier said it. And I don't remember who else. I definitely heard Whitaker saying it. Paulo Costa, I believe. It doesn't matter. I don't need their validation. That's the perfect thing to do in that situation. It's a blaze of glory, Hail Mary kind of tactic, which I don't think he really thought he was going to get it anyway. What he really needed to accomplish was to cover an injury. And some people, I think, I think there's a lot of sense to it. There's some of the look that you saw on his face was him knowing what he was about to do and how disgusted he was with himself, but also thinking, this is going to hurt. It's going to hurt. because he came in with an injured meniscus, which you can get away with. You could play seasons. You could play games and games. You could do fights. People have fought with messed up meniscus, messed up ACL, MCL, shoulders. People do it all the time. And it's bad for your long-term career, but people do it all the time. Athletes want to be athletes. They don't want to sit on the sidelines. They fight through it. And he came out Blaze of Glory style thinking, I'm not going to make it to the second, third, fourth, fifth round anyway. I can't compete with one leg, especially not against this guy. So I'm going to do something crazy so that it's masked, because if he were to walk out and just go toe to toe with him, dude couldn't even get in and out of his shoes, couldn't even get in and out of his sweats at the ceremonial weigh-ins. It would have been immediately obvious when he's trying to put weight on it and do everything over the course of a fight. He would have just buckled and fell immediately, and it would have been too obvious. At least this way, he masked it. He came out with enough adrenaline, because you could jog toward your opponent with enough adrenaline when you got a meniscus like that. You could even do those little cute kicks he was doing backstage on that. And you know what? I don't know if he hurt it worse. Look, here is an angle. And I'm not saying I fully believe this, but here is an angle. That he was hurt before the fight. And then he comes into the fight because he can't get out now. If he backs out, UFC has to refund everybody. That would be like the biggest disaster in UFC history. If he swapped out of the fight and there was an opponent change per the rules or whatever, Nevada, whatever, I don't know, UFC, they would have, literally everyone could have called for a refund. Would have messed up everything. Would have messed up betting, marketing, everything. Schedules, it would have messed up everything. So maybe he gets strong-armed by the UFC. Maybe it's a contract thing, whatever. He's hurt. He goes in there. He does that crazy kick. Now, there's a world in which this right here is possible. He does that kick, and he doesn't even get hurt anymore. He doesn't... Hold on. They're hanging on the doorknob. He doesn't even get hurt. He fakes it. He goes into the fight already hurt. If you were to get an MRI, CAT scan, X-ray, I don't even know what they're called. Before the fight, they would see something. He's already hurt, right? So he does that jumping kick, lands. You can't see anything on the footage. Doctors look at it. They say John Sutter or Brian Sutter. I always forget his name. Looks at, I can't see anything. DC was looking at it in the replay. Oh, you can see it right there. Look, you can see it. Look, in his face. This is reality. DC was saying it, like pointing it out, and he said it twice. He goes, look, you can see it right there. Look, you can see it. On his face, you can see his face is in pain. He had to go to his face because you could see nothing on the leg. When it's ACL, you always see that weird ricochet, whatever. Nothing. So maybe he came in injured, did the crazy kick, and then goes, ow, and says he's hurt. Nobody could tell it's internal. You can't see anything. You don't need to see a bone sticking through the leg or whatever. He just says, ow. And they got to believe him. What's the ref going to say? I don't know. I don't believe you. I didn't see it. He waves it off. Conor don't care. He's trying to get out of the contract. Doesn't really make him look bad either, because he didn't get beat up. He didn't get teed off on. He could say, oh, it's my leg. It's my leg. He walks straight out of the building. Doesn't want to see any doctors. Doesn't want to give anybody the opportunity to look at him. He just walks straight out of there. Barefoot. Gets right into the Cadillac. Goes. And he doesn't have to worry about it. Because if he does go to a doctor and they do see him or whatever, he was already injured. They're going to see something. And maybe that is what happened. Because have you guys seen any x-rays or anything yet? It's taken a long time. So maybe it was injured before the fight, but didn't look crazy. Didn't look all shattered and something you couldn't come back from. So then after the fight, of course, He's not going to be too eager to show it because it probably doesn't look too bad. But he's probably upset that the UFC pushed him to fight in the condition that it was. So that is something to consider. And I think if people write that off as an impossibility and a conspiracy theory, I mean, I said it in the video, I think yesterday, aren't you embarrassed to just eat up the UFC propaganda? Saying that Conor did not come into the fight injured is 100% the UFC narrative. 100%. So just know that. If you're going with that narrative, he wasn't hurt, he was not hurt, he got in their faces, stop being a conspiracy theorist, he's old and blah, blah, blah. Just know that you're eating out of the hands of the UFC. That's their narrative. And you're the same people always saying, Conor's a big liar, he's disgusting, he's a deceiver, he's a bad guy, he's a criminal, he's awful, he's evil, Dana's awful, he's terrible, he's an addict, he'll do anything for money, he'll say anything for money, he's got these and that in his pockets, you can't trust anything he says. Well, you guys are trusting both of them now. Both of them. Aren't you embarrassed? Is there any consistency in your life? It serves you no good whatsoever to fight the fact that he was injured before the fight. You could still call him an idiot. You could still say that he's old, that he's a druggie, steroid, cheater, whatever. It's all true. But I don't understand why the pushback against the fact that he was injured. There is, I mean, if it was a matter of being in a court of law, he's dead to rights. There's too much evidence. There's way too much evidence. Now, you have to understand the difference between proof and evidence. Most of the time, evidence is all we have. People are, sent to prison and they spend the rest of their life in prison. People are sentenced to death. People sometimes are set free. Not based on proof. It's based on evidence. Some people don't like to operate with evidence. They like to operate with emotions.